Oh, shit. You got to be freaking kidding me. Welcome to Texas Bear Adventures. I'm Brad Harry, your host, and today we're going to be installing a American Standard Cadet 3 flow-wise toilet. Let's get to it. All right, so I'm in the house. You're going to have to excuse the noise from the smoke alarms because they don't have any batteries and they're constantly chirping. So I apologize about that. But we've got our, here's our toilet tank. It is the Cadet 3 flow-wise, and here's our toilet bowl, Cadet 3 flow-wise. There's the numbers there. I will go ahead and put a link down below to Amazon where you can purchase the toilets and anything needed for this installation. I'll put the link in the description. You don't have to have all these tools. I am a professional, so it does help me for this installation to have them at my disposal, but it's not all necessary. You're gonna need, of course, some channel locks and or crescent wrenches. This is a Phillips head screwdriver for the toilet seat installation. Got a couple different lengths of supply lines for the toilet, for the water supply, okay? Here's our closet bolts, of course, wax ring. We have the closet flange. Got some Blue Devil screws, not to be confused with the other Blue Devil, you know what I'm saying? And I always use a clear glue and primer. And the reason being is that if it spills on this finished product, you might have a chance to clean it and without any problem. But if you use like a purple primer and gray glue, you spill it, you're gonna have to get the flooring guy in here to fix it. I always use clear on trim out, okay? And then of course I've got my Sawzall. I've got a drill driver with a 5/16 head on it. That's for the Blue Devil screws. And then I've got my drill with a 3/16 bit, and that is to anchor the flange down. All right, so first things first, shut the water off in the house before you do anything, because you don't want to flood the house. And then what I'll do is I'll take my scutcheon and I'll slip it on backwards. Come on, baby. There it is. All right, got it. I've got some sand cloth for like soldering copper. Take the sand cloth, put the scutcheon, shove it on. I like to use a 1/4 turn angle stop. So this is 5/8 copper by 3/8 compression. Okay, so I'll cut this here and then I'll slide this on, tighten up that nut and ferrule. All right, so next thing is gonna be taking this and cutting it off flush with the floor. So what you can do here with your Sawzall, take that blade and kind of bend it a little bit. You can get... All right, now that you got that cut nice and flush, get your flange. This flange is an Odie. It goes outside 3-inch or inside 4-inch. So this is a 4-inch riser, so it fits right in there like that. So you'll put glue and primer here and then glue and primer on the outside of the flange here. So before you start running your anchors, mark the middle and make sure that you have the middle of this groove right here. This is for the closet bolt to sit in. So make sure it is more or less in the middle of the center, from the wall to the center of your stub up. That's very important measurement right there before you start anchoring this down. Don't have to anchor it down to the ground, but if you don't anchor it down to the ground, you're going to want to let this set up for a good 15 to 30 minutes so that glue joint can dry. But if you're going to go ahead and anchor it, then you can anchor it down and then immediately just start putting your stuff in. Because if you're not going to anchor it, you're just going to glue it. If you set the toilet too quick, what will happen is it'll pull the flange up off of the pipe. All right, so I just drilled the last hole. I've gone ahead and set these in there where they need to go, and I'll start running these in. Just be careful that if it starts getting real tight when you're running the screw in, go ahead, get it in there. If it starts getting real tight, back it up, and then give it another go. If it starts getting real tight and you keep going, what it'll do is it'll shear that bolt head right off, and then you got other problems to deal with. All right, these closet bolts I've got right here, they have this little plastic washer, and what that does is it helps hold it in place. Okay, it doesn't really do anything. If you don't have it, it's fine, but you want to try to use that if you've got it. Or what you can do is you can buy a set that has double nuts. I like those best. And then what you have down here is you have another nut, and that nut holds this bolt in place. What we're going to do now is this closet flange has got a little hammer. So what you do is you can take a hammer, or make sure you're wearing safety glasses when you do this. Oh, shit. You got to be freaking kidding me. Well, what I was just going to say is be careful it doesn't fall down the drain, which is what just happened to me. I'm going to have to see if I can get something to retrieve that out. I don't want it going down the drain. Got it out. That would have been bad. I personally like the reinforced wax rings. Okay. Set your wax ring in place. All right, so this toilet is rocking back and forth, so we're gonna need some toilet wobble wedges. I've got some in the truck, hope you get them. So I was able to get the nut and the washer on. I went ahead and I took these little covers off. That's what this thing, these side covers pop into. So I took those off to get a little bit more room there, and I'll have to reinstall them here in just a minute. But I put the wobble wedges in the back. I put one right here. You can see it kind of right there. Put one right there, and then I actually put two over here on this side. So actually quite a bit more on this side, but it's not moving anymore. It's not moving side to side, so I'm gonna go ahead. That should be good enough, and I'll just fill in the bottom edge right here with caulk eventually. So I should have broken these bolts off before I stuck them in there. That way I could get my socket in there to tighten them up. But I went ahead and used my Gerber multi-tool with the needle nose on there, snapped them off. Worked pretty good. When you're snugging up these closet bolts, you don't want to go too much. You just got to go by feel. Because if you go too much, what will happen is it'll actually pull that bolt through the stainless steel flange that goes around, and then you have to pull the whole toilet off, and it's a big pain in the butt. So make sure you don't get a big old cheater wrench on there and tighten it down too much, because I've done it before and it's not fun. Typically toilets don't come with the closet bolts, closet nuts, anything like that. But this toilet did, and I didn't know that. And I'm not gonna use what they've got because I've already got it installed. This is the gasket, goes onto the horn, just like that. You just push it on, make sure that it makes a good seal down there. And we'll go ahead and install the tank with those nuts right there. Since this toilet has the skirting on the sides, it also has a hole in the bowl where the hose goes through. So you want to go ahead and put your flex hose on there first. You don't want to tighten it down with a pair of channel locks. Just get it hand tight, snug it up. You don't want it too much, but you don't want it too loose as well. So go ahead and put that on, get your gasket on, and then we'll go ahead and set that on our toilet. Get that plastic washer. Shove it up on there. Okay. Get our nut with washer built in. Get that started. And get our handy dandy tool. All right, so what you want to do is you want to go back and forth with the tool, and you want to do a little bit at a time on both sides until the tank is making contact down here. So it's no longer moving. It was wiggling. I needed to get that gap just a little bit more closed, and that's good now. So it's nice and tight. Typically, your water stub out is going to be on the left side of the toilet. It's going to be over here, which will work out perfect because the fill valve is on this side and it comes straight down and it would connect. Problem is, on this house, there's a pocket door right here. So we had to put the water on this side. That's why that is that way. All right, so you got two styles of nuts. This is a bottom mount for the toilet seat, and this is your top mount system. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna shove this in there. With your palm of your hand, shove that one in there. And do the same thing on this one. Stick our bolt back in there. Get our palm. Push it in. Take that out. And then I've separated, taken the cover off of that. Set the bottom part of the toilet seat bolt apparatus system. I know that's a mouthful, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and get both bolts started. We're going to go ahead and shove this all the way forward. We'll go ahead and get this, slip it on there like that. Come on. There we go. Slip that on there. And then the toilet seat has got those heels right there. It's got, make sure you don't break anything else. These are the releases for it. Okay. Shove it on there. Get these to catch, and then it'll be locked in. Okay. So if you want to release it, what you do is you would push both of those chrome pieces there, and then the toilet seat would come off. But there we go. Let's take all this off here, see how it looks. Oh yeah. Look at that, slow close seat. Awesome. Be careful, do not drop it when you're setting it on there. You don't want it to break. Okay. Water is off. Let's go ahead and go turn the water on and then get this toilet to flushing. Put your hand underneath here and make sure there's no drips. Make sure it's all nice and dry. Take the lid off. Make sure it's filling. You can adjust the float level here. If it's too high, you can bring it down. If it's too low, you can bring it up. Put the lid back on. The water here is a little dirty. We're gonna have to get our storage tank to clean that water up. We also have a water softener that isn't running right now exactly. Flush her down. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Texas Bear Adventures. Do me a favor, if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. And I'll catch you on the flip side. You dang hillbillies!